All right, guys, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are feeling good and are looking forward to this Q&A. Looking forward to maybe looking at some archives, some metrics. Let's get into it. Just to, and I'm not sure if we'll probably get a few new viewers, right? Just remember that day trading is, of course, risky business. Check out the disclaimer there on screen. As we're opening up here, I have my Thinkorswim not TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim broker available here for you guys to see. This is, of course, where I trade, where I buy and sell every single day. Some people still don't know to this day and age that, we're trading in an account over PDT. This is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. And I see we got some usuals, some regulars here. So shout out to Jessica and Mobile, Bond, Daniel. What's up? How you guys doing? Market is going to be brutal tomorrow. Yeah, we've been seeing the overall market and SPY pulling back and selling off. So, yeah, happy Sunday. Hope you guys are feeling good. In these Q&A sessions, we, of course, address any questions that we have from our students. Also, we take live questions that are coming in from the chat. So if you guys have anything day trading related, it can be technical, it can be fundamental, it can be related to metrics, it can be, we also do, these sessions are also considered a study session because we usually do reviews. Usually the questions that we get, they fall under some sort of a review, right? Because of how we answer and how we answer in detail. All right, so I'm checking out the MMU Q&A section. And we don't have a ton. We've been so steady with the Q&A sections. The Q&A sessions, rather, the Q&A sessions weekly. And we also answer DMs within a few hours most of the times, right? If not the next day, we always respond to our DMs. So by the time we get to Sunday, a lot of the questions, they're already getting checked off. So I'm going to check in fact, I'm looking at the Q&A section. We don't have anything compared to last weekend, right? We've already answered all those questions. So we'll take live questions coming in. I can pull up the YouTube chat. And I think this is also good, right? We can open this up to the public. I can throw my metrics on the screen here. We can go to reports and detailed. And we can talk about the month of January, not January, July, the month of July and how it went. I'm gonna release the monthly recap. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it after this live stream. Or what I can do, I can maybe this can be it, and I can clip it, can cut it. Let's see here. There we go. Pop out chat. Sometimes I forget where this thing is located. This way you guys can see the comments here on screen as well. This is how Marcelo usually does it. Trader B, what's up, man? How you doing? How's it going? So I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the month of July, and we're going to kind of bridge from there. An interesting month indeed, man. The 1st to the 31st. So we did just around $11,000 on the month of July. This is gross net profits. We did 9,721. Being that commissions aren't really like a huge part of what we're doing here, I typically watch my stats at gross. But net is always good, so you know exactly where you are, right? And if you have TraderView, I think it's silver or gold, the gold plan, you'll be able to get you'll be able to see both. If you have the lower grade plan, you might not be able to see net. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So it was an interesting month, man. We had I think a few hotter days where we seen some really epic momentum. I want to believe it was the 22nd and the 23rd. Even the 24th, we might have had, I think, some really strong stocks. This is the day I got caught. These 3 days right here could have essentially tripled, the month. Sometimes it's so crazy with trading. I mean, it's really insane how a few days, and then we had let's see, on this Monday, CMAX. I think there's another one that was it SCR. There's another one that I'm gonna pull up the archive from that day. The 22nd. Was this the day we had that stock that went straight up into the open? Or was that a different day? Okay, that might have been a different day. Was it the 23rd, perhaps? Yeah, AZTR. I think this might have been the one. Marcelo did share a few trades on this one. Of course, it's in the archives, but he also shared a few small clips to YouTube and like Instagram. And it's insane, man. The fine line when it comes to trading. Looking back at this thing, we're breaking out here right over the pre-market high in pre-market, right? We're not quite into the open yet. And I had that intuition in my mind. This stock might just go straight up. But I also understand the risk, and I didn't want to just jump in. It's the thing with this market where we've been having some hotter days and then some colder days, and so it hasn't really been a consistent week 2 or 3 of just solid momentum to where it's like, okay, by day number 2 or 3, I'm just gonna be jumping in because I know what has been working, and I'm not gonna change that until something tells me otherwise, right? So I had the intuition, but I was skeptical, and this thing was like a missile, man. 597, so it pushes up to 620. This is right before the open here, break of 6. And the moment we open, there's the open from 22. We get that slight hesitation right there. And this thing is starting to push to the upside. There's 50, 70, 80. The halt level goes higher. And then it chases it down right through the break of 7. I mean, all within like 10 seconds here. I really would have had to buy down there 720, 730 area to really have given myself a chance here. And if I'm selling at 50, you'd have to buy back. And look at the spreads here. It's massive. 20 cent spread, 25 cents. The halt level initially here is going to be, oh, okay, it's at 731 to start. So that break of $7 just, impressive. And just like that, just in 10 seconds into the open, this thing has already went from 520 to 730. Is that right? Or is that 620? 620. From 620 to 730. Just hitting the buy button alone would have made me hundreds of dollars here. Much less if I'm using share size early. So, sometimes it's a little hard to beat yourself up, because, the fine line, man. The fine line is something else. So that was the 23rd. We can come back here to the calendar. That was the 23rd. So, we had a decent green day, but definitely not the type of green day we would want under the circumstances. But again, understanding that, if you miss a few couple of key trades early, you can definitely not be where you want to be on the day, right? This is the biggest thing to me that stands out on the month. We've had other days where it's like sometimes some closer calls, but it's a little tricky on the day to day because, you know, there's a lot of, let's say there's a lot that's going on those particular days, and we're using our best discretion, we're trading to the best of our abilities, we're managing risk. So it's like I'm not really too pressed about those days, but the 3 days where we saw the hot momentum, man. ADIL, I ended up trading that one. I was able to get a couple $100, but then this resumption, man. Let's come back a little bit. This resumption, I tell you. So ADIL, we were able to make $500 in the meantime. It resumes. Hold on, let me go back one more time. So we're halted up at 731. Man. It just, it's just like yesterday, this thing was moving. So from 731, we get the higher resumption at 67. There is a small 12,000 share buyer there. there's 50. So from 67, we dropped to 50, a small drop. And then from 50, I mean, man, you know what's so interesting is that there were days like whether it's like a BMR kind of a stock, HOLO, like there's days where I traded this exact type of momentum, but I'm in all the right areas. And you look back over to your P&L, you're up like 8, 9,000 in what just felt like 3 trades or 3 minutes. It's insane, this type of volatility. But what you don't want to do is get frustrated and chase, because if it reverses and you're buying the high, then you can have trouble. But in terms of entries, right? You look back at this trade, like it in the moment, it kind of felt fast, and I think I was a little on the defensive because I missed the first move from the open. I wanted a bigger pullback, but sometimes what you want and what the stock will do is two different things, which is why I like to use the word being reactive, staying reactive. And I think I could have been in here. I could have been in here, but it would have been an aggressive entry, and I think it would have happened if I had had trades earlier. Because sometimes that cushion, even a lot of the times we don't really think about what a cushion really means. Yeah, we're up overall in our accounts and stuff like that, but sometimes a cushion to start the day, getting that nice sweet trade to start, can definitely assist you in being a little bit more aggressive, especially knowing that you're not gonna potentially go red more than likely, but maybe you can give back profits, right, in terms of risk. But on the other side, if the trade does work out, you're being a little bit more aggressive, that reward is looking at exponential. And on those days where you're accurate in those situations is where the day can quickly like start to balloon into a beautiful big green day. Oh man, KB asking if I skip leg day this week. KB, man, we're dialing in, we're locking in on legs, man. We're locking in on legs. In fact, my thighs, man, are getting a little too big, I believe. Got to do some work on on like below the knees, the calf muscles. We've been doing our thing, but the growth down there is not exponential. So as I'm looking in this mirror, there's a huge mirror here to my left. Calf muscles still need a little bit of work, man. So for the rest of the summer, I'm using the longer socks. Using the longer socks. Is every mentor using Thinkorswim along with level 2? Yeah, yes we are, right? Yes we are. Um, Although I will say Marcelo and Tim will utilize the DAS Trader hotkeys a little bit more than I do, right? In fact, I haven't really been using them at all the last couple of months. In the past, I used them a lot more when I used to trade pre-market. Like having the offsets in pre-market, I mean, it was great, right? But the only thing really that I could sometimes see it helping me with is selling half. But the way how the active trader is set up in Thinkorswim, right? If I pull it up here on the screen, what I can do is show my screen up top, right? So usually when there's a hot stock, so I'm watching at 3 stocks most of the times, right? Let me just kind of configure this exactly how I'd have it in the open, right? Doing the market hours. So I'll make sure everything is fit to the screen properly. And the strong stock that I'm watching, I'll usually extend this a little bit and then I'll pull this out. That way, I have access to the share size. And I don't really need to see the 10K size, but as long as it's like peeking out a little bit. If there's a really hot stock, especially around like the $250, $3 price range, right here is where I'm usually dealing with share size. Let's say I do buy 10K like on a penny stock and I want to sell 500. I'll just like click, well, 5,000. I'll just click the 5,000 and sell. But it does take a half second, right? Compared to when you do have the hotkey on DAS and you're executing through DAS primarily. But we're all using level 2. Level 2 is our bread and butter. We have our patterns and our edges, but the level 2 helps us to be able to take the trade, pull the trigger, get in, and it also sometimes helps us to be able to get out quickly, whether for gains or to prevent a loss, right? We're using the time and sales as well, level 2 in time and sales. along with our charts. But on Thinkorswim itself, there are hotkeys. They're more, if you want to use the word primitive, compared, because DAS is so intuitive, right? The hotkeys on Thinkorswim is pretty basic. Um, but I still think it's better than hitting the buy and sell market buttons. But some people prefer the buttons. I mean, like Crispy, for example. Crispy is one of those guys that use the buttons, and you guys see Crispy's like killing it, right? So it just comes down to the feel, preference. If you like to click on the keyboard, if you like to maybe click on the buttons. But yeah, we're all using level 2. How much money do I make a day? Okay, we can go check that right now. Reports. I think it's like around 1200. We definitely fell down quite a bit from our averages in the first half of the year. For the month of July, we were making 504 a day. Um, let's come back to year to date. So year to date, we're up 183,000. Actually, let's do net. We're up 176,000 with an average of $1,206 a day. Gross gains a slightly more, 1255, just a couple dollars more. So 1,200 bucks a day. To be honest, when I see these numbers, there's two feelings, two emotions, two feelings that I get. One half, it's like, holy smokes. Like just a few years ago, and I mean, I can show you guys just a few years ago, back when we were like in 2020, 2019 simulator, 2020, my first year going live, making 16,000, 2021, my second year making 45,000, 2022 making 55 or 58,000, and then 2023, finally putting more share size behind the trades, finally putting more share size. The difference between me making 40K and over 100K, 150K, 170K is the share size, right? Back then, I mean, even if you look at my overall volume, like right here, where is it? Volume, average daily volume, right? If we check for like all time, how do I come out of this custom range? Custom range, cancel. Does cancel work? Trader view, I have no way of like understanding how to use this thing now. Um, Year to date, custom range, 12 months, last month. There's nothing here that says all time. Can I cancel this? It doesn't cancel. The trash bin doesn't work. Do I have to manually go back? Did that do it? Okay, I guess that I don't even. Okay, I guess I can click today. Maybe that works. Okay. So if you look at my overall volume compared to this year, where we're doing over half a million, we're doing 194 aggregate throughout the entirety of our trading. And if we're to go back over the years, right? This freaking thing is just set up so wild. I guess I need to play around in it more to become a little bit better. But we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. If we come back here to like 2021, January of 2021 to we'll just to 2022, right? December 2022. December 31st. Our volume was 77,000 shares of volume per day for an average of 200 bucks. So it's like there's no secret as to, like, people say Relentless, what's the difference, right? Okay, we do have to say that we've gained more experience, we've become more confident because there's an extra 2 years of us having more screen time. But you can clearly see 500,000 shares a day versus 77,000 shares a day. Like that's the biggest thing that's changed. So, and a lot of this is, like me starting out my account in the negatives. Like I had to borrow 25 grand. I'm coming from the slums, right? I had to borrow 25 grand, and so I had $2,500. My account was at 27.5. I have $2,500 over the level. It's like I had to take the baby steps first. Baby steps, baby steps. You know, I ended up making the money to pay off my loan. Chose not to pay it off for another investment, which wasn't, if I could go back in time, I would not have done it that way. I tried for another investment, and so I didn't pay off the loan. And of course, the high interest of like 20% back then started hitting me, which was a disaster. Like that was a disaster to like deal with, man. Dealing with car loans and like credit card loans and personal loans with that type of interest rate will cripple you. So I, living frugally, just understanding that I cannot afford to blow up, and just going so slow, just saving, saving, saving. At this time, I'm still working at Amazon, so I trade. And my shift at Amazon was like what, 2 p.m., 2 p.m. onwards, 3 p.m. onwards. Sometimes I'll go in an hour early, so it was actually 3 p.m. but I'd go in for 2 p.m. So I trade from like 9:30 to like 12 or 1 o'clock, and then leave, right? And saving at Amazon, saving from whatever I could make at trading to pay off that 25 grand. And it's like paying that loan off. It's like that weight being lifted off my shoulders. And then also from there being able to then have a saving of like 10 grand, 20 grand. Then it's like before you know it, like subconsciously it became easier for me to like trade with more size. It's like being liberated versus being in this place where if you I was gonna cuss. Let me not cuss. Some of you guys might have kids around. Being just making sure that, hey, I'm not gonna mess up to go back into the depths. Um, but yeah, these are the numbers. It's good for people to see. I know it's definitely gonna be motivating. It's like we didn't just start off making 1,000 a day, right? And some of the newer viewers might come in and it's like, man, this guy, like, he's been good out of the womb. He's been good from birth. No, is this process of like years of just like taking all the right steps to improve. And where I am now, it's an interesting place because I know that I can do more. I know that I can use more size. Some of our traders in our community, they're doing 2 million shares of volume a day. I'm doing 500,000. I know I can use more size, but it's like when it comes to the risk aspect, there's still certain things I'm uncomfortable with, right? With certain types of losses, and knowing that that's what it could be if the trade doesn't work. And so, I think as I continue to do what I've been doing, which is all the right things with money, right? And being not super cautious, but like managing well, I think over time we're going to become more comfortable to even do more with size. And we're also looking to make wise investments in these things. So the more diverse I become, like the day that I really like go crazy here in this trading field will be the day that I don't need the trading income at all. When I don't have to care about this money, I will be able to do things that right now I cannot do yet, because this money's still very relevant, right? It's like it's what I'm using to pay my bills. So I can't go too crazy to the point where I go to zero, you know. But once those other investments properly kick in, man, it'll be a good time to be alive. Okay, let me check the comments because I've been rambling on here. How much money do you make a day is where we stopped off. RT, do you know if the 390 rule limit is enforced by Schwab? So we've gotten a message, right? So Tim, one of the mentors here in the community, reached out to customer service and had a very detailed conversation. And they told him, actually, no, 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 hold up. Let me hold my tongue. I'm confusing two situations. What I was gonna say was for the what's this thing called, the good fate rule with us trading on non-marginable stocks. So I have to hold my tongue. In terms of if the 390 is being enforced, we have numerous traders who've been going over the limit, so much so that they're double, triple over the limit, and they haven't received the notice yet. So it seems as if they're not enforcing it at all. I never really checked in like officially because I usually stay under the limit anyways. But we haven't had anybody complain about it, so it seems like they're not really pushing it like how TD was pushing it. And it's like TD's, we heard, hey, this is like a SEC SEC thing, but now with this platform, you're not hearing anything about that. So it's like, what's real and what's not? It's like we're getting mixed news here, right? And then even the representatives too. Sometimes you call in, one person tells you something, the other person tells you something else. I don't know if it's because maybe that individual could be a newer employee, or if they're going off the top of their head and they're not reading through from the guidelines or the rules, or maybe the rules have been changed. These things are happening, and sometimes we're not really super sure. Still in the bull market, I would agree so. As a trader, have you ever experienced a sense of self-doubt or concern about whether you truly know enough to justify the substantial gains you're making? So like an imposter syndrome. No, I've never had that. I've never had doubts about making money because what we have is a very detailed and advanced system. Now, if I was doing something that wasn't like proven and wasn't proven time and time again over weeks, months, and years, then you can have that insecurity of like, will I be able to continue to do this? Right here, right now, I know what I can expect when I see a certain type of stock. When I see a certain type of stock, I know what it means for me. Now, it's a matter of being disciplined and waiting for those particular opportunities, and and also when they come, being very proactive, being very firm and disciplined. But when we're not seeing them, to ease off, right? And in doing so, we manage risks, right? Making sure that our red days, on the days where it's not so hot, is not so big, right? Our red days are limited. Having a max loss, stock selection, patterns, high quality entries, all these different things can help us out because ultimately stocks can come that can be very difficult to trade, and that can be you know tricky, right? There's always risk on the other side, but when the system is proven, when the system is strong, when the blueprint is there to follow, and when it comes to MMU, we have students who are also doing well. Like, there'll have to be there'll have to be some sort of like change, maybe on the broker level, the SEC governing body level. They were going to do like a 5 cent tick program, which every stock was going to have a 5 cent spread. Like that, there would have to be something fundamentally to like alter the strategy. And even then, it's so nimble, it's so flexible that it probably could still work, right? It can change. Like, the strategy doesn't have to be one way. you know, we understand so much about technical analysis. We can position ourselves if there is something that changes, right? Like, for example, let's say commissions. Like, let's say commissions come back tomorrow at $50 a trade. Then, okay, instead of hyper scalping, maybe we just look for bigger picture entries, take 5, 10 trades a day. We change, we adjust, because those 5, 10 trades a day, we already take those trades. It's just that we take an additional 500 trades on top of those. It's not like we don't see those 10 trades and take them, right? It's just a matter of, okay, if that's what is necessary to win and survive, that's what we do, right? Just like humans in the nature in the wild, right? Whatever it takes to be successful, right? Doing all the right things, doing all the disciplinary things. Let's see. Let's come on down. Is there a halt level indicator for Thinkorswim? I think someone in our chat room like a year and a half ago had a script. I don't know if I can find that script. It was somewhat accurate, not like 100%, but plus or minus of where the halt could be. They created a script that was like over the level 2, similar to what DAS looks like. Um, I'd have to like message some people to find that. But if you're using Momo Pro or DAS Trader, of course, you have limit down, limit up on your level 2 for the stock that you're watching at. That will show you where the stock will be halted if it gets up there in time. And we can show a quick example of that right here before this resumption. And then on Momo Pro, if a stock is up more than 3% in the last 5 minutes, it'll also show the halt level going up or down. So AZTR on the 23rd of July, you can see the halt level here up is at 731. So if we get to this level and we hold that level for 15 seconds, it will be locked in. So here we are, we're seeing bidders here at 31, right? And the stock can't go any higher. And there's people looking to buy at 31. And there's also hidden buyers here as well. So when you see this red hitting the tape, it's people taking profits, people selling, right? But the buying here, and you can see these orders are going down. The buying is so strong. So many people are still looking to bid at this level that it's holding this 31 area. And if we do that for 15 seconds, it's going to get locked in. But you can see these numbers coming down as people are, as that red is hitting the tape, right? Selling at the bid price. But there's just so many people bidding that it's gonna boost up, and buyers are just loading up here to get in, and boom, we're locked in at 31. On Momo, do I have Momo Pro open? It might not show because market data markets are closed, but yeah, any watch list stock or stock that's just up more than 3% in the last 5 minutes will show the halt levels up and down. So Momo Pro could also be utilized, but Thinkorswim, I don't think there's a way other than building some sort of script. So unless you're a software engineer, it's probably not going to happen, right? Shout out to the software engineers, man. Software engineers are getting it done. So let's pull up the comments again and keep going. Let's see. That's me again, right at PDT. It's such a good mine. Oh yeah, and I think this is going back to like taking it slow. 390 limit only for option trading rule by SEC. North is saying, not for stock trading. Man, Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade and those representatives, man. 500 trades a day and haven't gotten a notice from Legend. Yeah. RT, how much consistency do you think someone should have before sizing up? July was my 3rd green month in a row, and I actually feel like I got the strategy that works for me. I mean, 3 months is definitely like the benchmark, right? Here in MMU, we say 3 to 4 months. I mean, if you're really feeling it, could be 2 to 3 months, but 3 months definitely is that benchmark level. So, the number one things to consider, and to do, I would say, if you do want to start sizing up, is to start simulating trades, right? When you're going back and you're studying, and like this is how I'll do it, right? It's like watching at the areas that I usually would watch at for entries. Okay, if I was to be long here, right? If I was to be long in like this 622 area, not just with 1,500 shares, but let's say with like 3,000 shares, and I would have sold where I would have sold, how much money would I have made? And then also on the other side, you're also thinking about the risk. If this had flushed down an equal amount, I mean, typically we're looking for like more than a 1-to-1. If we're looking to make 20 cents, we don't want to lose 20 cents as well. But I'm thinking about different scenarios. if I'm to lose this to the equal and opposite amount, if this is to be a disastrous trade, as in I buy and it teleports down to like a halt, all those things to so that once I see the numbers, it's like I've already seen it before. It's like it doesn't bother me. I don't get super anxious. It's like I already knew that this was a possibility. And then to the winning side, you know, you know what that green feels like, so it doesn't encourage you to do something you wouldn't do otherwise. Let's say chase the move higher or break character and just load up super massive size, because you still want to have that balance to keep focus on the indicators and take all the right entries, right? So simulating trades in your mind, whether when you're studying, even when you're just laying there daydreaming about trading, because I'm pretty sure most of us do that, right? Um, but you can also think when it comes to structure, you can think of more of like a technical system to implement it if you want. Um, you can think about increments, right? When it comes to maybe going up by, let's say, 200 shares every week, or you know, you have to think about what will be comfortable for you, right? Just look at yourself from that third person's perspective. How do you feel about the share size that you're using right now, and how much do you think you can push it, and do you want to expand your comfort zone a little wider, right? So there's the rate of which you can increase the size, in terms of like quantity, and then the time frame in terms of like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. These are all things that you can consider when increasing the share size. But you definitely don't want to do something that's just super out there and that can alter the way you trade, right? The key is to still take the same setups, have the same level of discipline to cut the losses when it's not working, despite using that higher share size. That's the number one thing that'll get us. We'll size up and it's like, man, this green looks so good, I'm just going to take it, despite that not being the place where we would usually sell. Or it goes against us, and instead of cutting it tightly, because we're seeing the red being so big on the P&L, it's like, man, I'm going to try to hold this to see if it bounces back. Before you know it, it doesn't bounce back. It's a much bigger loss. It's a simple psychology, but it gets us. I fell victim to it. A lot of traders in the community sometimes have trouble sizing up, right? But once you size up and you start to and you get those winners, it gives you the confidence, right? You get that mental cushion, you get the cushion in your actual account, right? Capital wise, and you know that you've done it once. And once you do it once, you can do it. You can do it again. You can do it twice, thrice, and an unlimited amount of times. And it's interesting for me because there's like a comparison here to the gym. When I go to the gym after like missing like a week, for example, the team house trip comes up, I miss a week at the gym. When I go back to the gym, it's like the workout that I did, I know I've done it before. And so my first day back, instead of taking it light to shake off the rust, I follow my full routine. It's like, man, I'm gonna push myself to do it to this level because I know I can do it. And then even then some, right? When it comes to expanding the comfort zone, you can go even harder, right? Maybe you put on a weight vest doing your calisthenics, right? Whatever it takes. Um, but yeah, let me see. How are we doing? Where are the questions? How are we doing? We're on the backside of the bull market, perhaps. I mean, the market has been so strong since the pandemic, right? The moment that they announced that vaccine, man, it's. I mean, we've done like 120% since 2020. I mean, it's just absolutely insane because we usually see 8% year over year, and that was essentially like 25% a year or more, or 30%, whatever the math is. It's like it's pretty impressive, man. It's why they say the rich will continue to get richer, right? And it's like if you're someone who has the education and you already have capital, there's nothing stopping you from essentially making a 50% gain or more in that time, versus someone who does not have capital and who does not have the education. Maybe they're working towards it, but there's still them missing that 100% move, right? So it's like if each of us as individuals can continue to improve, and not just in trading, but we got to improve in many ways, man, in our personal lives, in our financial lives, when it comes to us just being, and I know some of you guys are already a little older, so we have a mature audience, so some of you guys probably already way ahead of this, right? Maybe as you're heading into retirement, stuff like that. But the younger guys, especially the younger ones, we have to continue to educate ourselves and continue to listen and learn, because you know there's just so much stuff to improve on, right? Outside of trading, other businesses, other industries. And the more diverse we can get, the better it'll be ultimately. So different sectors, different industries, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. Tell you, man, this month I'm gonna go back to Trader View, kind of look through a little more. So I didn't do a monthly recap for I didn't do a monthly recap for June either. So I'm curious of also how June is looking. Can I just cancel? Man, I tell you, this date range thing. Oh yeah, today. I guess I gotta go to today. Boom. No, today. Custom range. Apply. I feel like a grandmother here. I guess I can do year to date. Okay, there's this month. Okay, there's this month, there's last month. This month. Custom range. Okay, this month. Okay, I guess last month. Okay, I see. Last month. Pastor, like a grandmother here, like a dinosaur on the PC. I'm really curious towards the win-loss expectations, which I'm gonna check out here in a sec. Shows us how much money really passed through our accounts. We did have some bigger losses, and Zap is not a stock I would have wanted to be red on, because that was a stronger stock, right? We had some winning days, but we also had a few losing days. I think one of our red days of the 2400 in the beginning of the month was on Zap. Market behavior relative to the SPY movement. I really don't look at this much, but some people do. But yeah, the win-loss expectation, man. So throughout the month, I mean, this is just not what I want to see. Like, we've had more efficient months by far. So we've made $101,000. And so for those of you who, you know, you don't like to lose. Some people do not like to lose, believe it or not. And for 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 obvious reasons, but in this field it's like you kind of have to know how to lose, because I mean just look at the madness here. Let's ignore this for a second and we ask ourselves, as a trader, would you want to be able to make $11,000 in 1 month? Especially for the people who are, whether they're a great trader and they're struggling right now, or they're a beginner trader looking to size up, or someone who's new. If you say, hey, do you want to make $11,000 in 1 month? People are going to say, sign me up right away. But the reality of it is that, I've lost a lot of money throughout the month, right? Some of it was, let's say most of it and majority of it is the back and forth throughout the given day. Green, starting the day green 500, lost 300 off the top, pushing back up to 800, maybe lost 400 off the top. There's that churn, right? I remember Friday, for example, I was red 250 on one stock, and it felt like I was between like 250 and maybe like 190 in the red. After like 30 trades, it's like I'd make $70, lose $70, make $70. It's like the amount of money that's like passing through your accounts in these trades, like they're adding up very, very quickly. So And then of course there's red days, there's drawdowns, things like that. Um, but yeah, in the end, it looking at the glass half full, we had a great month, making 11,000 a month for me. Even at this level is still solid. We do want to push more, but it's solid. But on the other side of it, it lets me know how much I can improve. It lets me know that there's room to be so much better, and not just ending where we ended here, but can we make 200,000 on the month, and can we retain 50% of it, 40% of it? Can we end that month up 80, 90,000, 100,000? Those are the things that I'm thinking about when I see these numbers. And I'm curious to see how a month like February was in terms of this particular stat, which was our best month. How did we do in this aspect? Not the ratio, not quite the ratio I'd want to see, but better. 220,000 and 148,000 in losses to get to this destination of 72,000. So, and it looks like the bulk of it was to the 16th, right? To the 16th, we made the bulk of the gains, and then we kind of had a little bit of a sideways patch here. So in 16 days, 63,000. It's kind of crazy, man. This is my whole year, or maybe not even. Yeah, my year at Amazon wasn't even like this. It was more like 40,000 or something. I tell you, man, leaving that job just to trade full time was definitely the move, because at one point I was getting they were offering me a promotion, like in management. And you know what I didn't know, and the reason I didn't take it, is because I didn't know if what my schedule was going to be like. And these people, they're corporate, you guys know how it is. It's like I'm not going to sacrifice anything for trading. The reason I was working there in the first place was because the schedule made sense for my trading schedule. It's like my world is revolving around trading. Nothing is revolving, nothing else is like the center of gravity. Trading is the first thing, which is like I've had before I continue this point, I've had moments in time where I kind of deviated. Like there was a Sunday like 2 years ago where I went to a party, left the party at like 3 4 a.m., and it's a Sunday night and I have to wake up to trade at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. It's like I couldn't forgive myself for that nonsense. Like, so once those mistakes happen once, it's like there's no way you can catch me partying or like going out on, like, if there's something like, yeah, I'm leaving 9 p.m., because this is what's important. I need to come back and do this first and then do anything else second. So definitely have to respect the game, and that comes back to being consistent with ourselves and prioritizing. But these numbers, man, these numbers are wild. So, as a trader, we definitely have to understand that losing, we have to be a good loser. And I don't think June month was hotter than July. I don't think so. But we did a better job, retaining our gains. And was this the month I was red on calendar? No, that might have been May. I think May was the month I was red half the month and then became green. It's a solid calendar here, right? We got 3 red days on Monday, but other than that, everything looks decent here. And it really goes to show you that small base hits can really add up, right? Small base hits, because we didn't have like a massive 10, 15K day, but we're up 14,000 on the month. I like what I'm seeing here, right? So I'm just waiting for the momentum, man, to pick back up, and we do have to do a better job on those days where it's a little bit more sporadic. When we get a burst of hot momentum out of the blue, just gotta just push hard on those days to be aggressive, to lock it in. Um, Tomorrow I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Friday was a little slow. What will we see tomorrow? Can we see some hot momentum? That's the main thing. Can we see some consistent momentum? If not, I got to do a better job of walking away sooner before I'm down like 1K. It's like the moment I start seeing that turbulence, man, I can't be afraid to just say I'm going to shut it down. You know, I used to do this thing in the past more often where I drop my share size to one share because there's that effort of having to click on the share size button, you know, to come back up. Like if I have one share typed in all of these active traders, right? There's a conscious decision rather than just seeing something moving, clicking by. It's like, okay, is this worth me going back up to 1K shares, 3K shares, whatever it might be? If the answer is no, we got to just avoid those stocks, man. Because again, I know exactly what it is that works well for me. So, you know, I got to get back into being a little bit more tighter where it's like, if it's not that, we just leave it alone and we avoid these red days, you know, because we look back at July, just two of those days, and you know, I'll give myself a pass only because I think one of these days was really hot. This day was really hot, but we got caught on the wrong side. But this other day, I think we could have done better with Zap and some of the other stocks that we traded. Like we got obliterated on Zap, man. Anytime we're taking losses like this, 360, 450, and then not, I mean, look how many losers in a row, man. Zap obliterated us. But yeah, I still think this is something we can improve on. Having tighter red days, and also when things are hot, sizing up a little bit quicker. That way, instead of ending the day around 15, 1800, we end the day around 3K. Shares, the only difference there is share size. There's no other difference, right? Share size is such a crazy factor in this field, man. I'm telling you guys, man. There are some days when we catch these trades or in, you know, my typical share size to start is 1500. When a stock really gets going and I'm using base of like 3500, max size of like 8 9K, there's some trades you're really confident, you have the intuition, you jump in 8K shares. It's like you look back over your P&L at the end of the trades and stuff, you know, when you get a chance, boom, you're up 5K, and you want to know how the heck you're up 5K so quickly. It's like it's definitely, you know, it's crazy. The share size part of this game is like insane, man. So we got to keep pushing ourselves. You know, it's the way to go, right? But this might be a good place to shut it down and get ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. I think there's like a some sort of stew. All I know I saw in the pot was carrots, potatoes. I think it might have been chicken or beef. I'm not sure. I don't know what type of stew, if there was some sort of like cabbage or something, but it's gonna get devoured. It's gonna get devoured. In terms of improving the win-loss expectation, it really comes down to actively managing throughout the day, throughout the trading day. It's, you know, trading. I make a lot of mistakes, man. Like for what I see in my mind versus how everything is executed and how it reflects back to me on screen, man, there's a lot of frustration at times. Like some days I'll be on here, it looks like I'm perfectly fine, but when you see me getting quiet, especially, man, it's like I'm like trying so hard in my mind to stay cool, calm, and just, you know, not do anything stupid because there's variables, but it's like I know, like, you know, you'll hear like a guy like Tim saying this too, and it's like his commentary is like, man, like I know I could have done better there. I know I could have done better there. So all the little things, the foundation of what our strategy is, being very disciplined towards those things and doing it consistently, right? The combination of that is what's going to improve the win loss expectation because we're going to have more consistency through and through. Managing ourselves, being courageous in the areas where fear is a factor and preventing us from taking the entry that we know deep down is a solid entry. but worrying too much about if it continues to drop. But the strategy says this is where you need to be in. What else do you need to worry about? Be in with your stop loss and watch for the follow through. You know, it's like this trading thing is like simple. It's very simple, but it's like we can make it so complicated. You know, it's like the rules can be as night and day as, hey, stop at the red light, because if you go through the intersection, there can be a collision, you can get hurt. But in this real world, right? Let's take come outside of trading for a second. How many times do people go through red lights, yellow lights, and for how many different reasons, right? And right away people might think like drunk driving or reckless driving. I mean, sometimes it's not even that. It could have been distractions, right? Texting and driving. It could have been. Sometimes you never know what's happening in the car. They might have looked back to check on the toddler or something. Like it's like so many reasons. Maybe somebody was late for something and they tried to catch the light, and I mean just so many variables, right? But for one reason or another, that person went through the light, but the rule says to not go through the light. And trading can be just exactly like that. The rules are there. The rules for engaging into a trade is there, but for one reason or another, will deviate. Again, holding a loser too long, selling a winner too quickly, hesitating at the entry. It's like these things. It's almost like we need to be like robots. And so it's like the more disciplined you can be as an individual, the more you can be rewarded, even without massive share size. So that's the goal, is to just continue to be a more refined version of myself. If I can do that, then I can see better days, better weeks, better months, better years. The market does have a say to a degree, because we can like have no momentum for the next 5 months or something like crazy. Who knows? But the way how things are right now, the markets are pretty liquid. I think even when we're not in a bull market, we'll still be able to see decent stocks. Again, with our strategy, we can be so nimble that we can squeeze opportunities. Even if it's just a couple $100 a day on average, we can squeeze the orange and get some sort of juice. Do you know how to short a stock? All on Thinkorswim, um, whether or not you can short a stock does depend on if there's shares available to borrow. But if there are shares available to borrow, especially on a stock like Tesla, where like large caps, blue chips, like on Tesla, if the market was open, I would have took a trade just to show you. But you literally just hit the sell button, and it'll go short, and then hit the buy button, and it'll cover the position for you, so you'll be back out of the trade. Um, yeah, on Thinkorswim, it's as simple as that. I am on the hard. They have something called a hard to borrow list, which gives you a little bit more exposure to being able to go short versus the average customer who's not on that list. Um, so if there's ever a stock that I can short that you cannot, that's probably why. Other than that, um, there are brokers that are designated to short selling, which has more variety and more availability to borrow shares, right? Um, yeah, yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it. So it's been a good talk. It's been a good one. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully, we do see some nice momentum, man. It just feels so good when you can see a nice, beautiful day. Smooth momentum. I don't have frustration anymore when it comes to um like let's say baggage, like taking the day with me outside of trading. I usually get over it like very quickly, especially now. I think it's like the better you become as a trader, the more distance you are, the more distance you have in between you and like $0, it's like it's a little easier to just let go. I think, before it was like a thing that I think about more, but now it's like whatever, whatever. We'll come back again. Because sometimes it's like these stocks, man, I tell you, it's not easy, right? It's not easy. What we're doing here is and did I have this thing up top this entire time? Holy smokes. Hopefully I didn't mess up what I was showing earlier. But yeah. Okay, stay safe, stay green. If you're going to if you're going to distance, I'm so used to saying that. If you're gonna study up some more, make sure to look at all those key areas, right? Especially if you're looking at the archives, if you're a student. I'm gonna watch my archive some more around like 9 p.m. I have a laptop, so I kind of like to lay down, and then I skip through, watch some of mine, triads, Marcelo's, Tim's, at least for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then go to sleep feeling good, wake up early, go through my morning routine, and then from there right into the pre-market stuff. So you know, I do feel confident in that sense, that knowing that I'll be prepared and I'll be ready and I'll be disciplined throughout the day. So looking forward to another beautiful day tomorrow. RT, have you ever considered opening the room an hour before open? The YouTube live stream, you mean? I haven't done that because we have a chat room. Like we have the Discord, which a lot of you guys on YouTube are kind of like sleeping on. But if you want something for free, I guess nothing can beat free, right? But the Discord is pretty valuable, right? The chat room is always open. It's even open right now. You had some people yesterday chopping it up. The Gen chat. Actually, the Gen chat hasn't been that active. The P&L section is where people post their winners and losers, of course. So before the open, it's like already like very busy in here. Like an hour, 2 hours before, 3 hours, all the pre-market traders are in here chopping it up early, talking and having conversations, call outs, stuff like that. The MMU students shining bright. We're gonna have those interviews coming soon of success stories. We haven't forgot about that. Coming very soon. But yeah, take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Hit that thumbs up if you have not already. I don't think I've mentioned that once. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to review, guys. Review it. It will keep you fresh for the next day. And at 9 p.m., 9:45 time, I'm going to be studying up some more. Take care. Stay safe. Stay green. See you guys in the live stream bright and early tomorrow morning.